So one of the biggest reasons that women lose hair during menopause is not just attributed to hormones. It's nutrition. When estrogen and progesterone dip, your body really needs to have the right balance of vitamins, minerals, and especially protein. And if you don't give your follicles what they need, you can find your hair thinning out super fast. But the great news is that food and supplements can really help. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the exact nutrients that your hair needs during menopause, what foods to focus on, and the supplements that can really make a difference. And stay with me until the end because I'm going to share a daily routine that you can start today that can help your hair start to look fuller and thicker and healthier as well. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Deepa. I've been studying trichology and women's hair health for years. And I've helped hundreds of women get on the path to regrowth. And one thing that I really want you to take away from this video is that nutrition is one of the most powerful tools that we have at our disposal when it comes to protecting and regrowing your hair. So we're going to get into this video. Before we do, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this video with anybody that might need to watch it. So when we talk about menopause and hair loss, the conversation usually starts and ends with hormones. And yes, hormones are absolutely crucial in this story, but the reason why your hair is changing so dramatically during menopause is really about how those hormonal shifts interact with your nutrition and your hair growth cycle. So here's what's happening behind the scenes. Your hair goes through three main phases. The anagen phase, which is the growth phase. Catagen, which is a very short phase. It's also known as the transition phase. And telogen, which is the resting or shedding phase. There's also a fourth one where your hair starts to regrow, but in this video, we're just focusing on those three. So now before menopause, estrogen and progesterone were helping to keep your hair in the growth or the anagen phase for much longer. But once your estrogen and progesterone levels start to drop in perimenopause, menopause, androgens like DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone, these become more dominant, which ends up disrupting your hair growth cycle. So instead of staying in a nice healthy growth phase for years, your follicles can be pushed quickly into the resting phase. And then from the resting, it goes right into shedding. Now, scientifically, this is called follicular miniaturization. This is when the follicle itself starts to shrink under the influence of hormones and nutritional deficiencies. Now, here's the catch. Hormones aren't the only thing driving this process. Your hair follicles require a lot of energy and minerals and vitamins to maintain activity. That means they're constantly demanding cellular energy, oxygen, amino acids. And when your hormone support starts to decline, they need these things from your nutrition even more. And unfortunately, if you're not fueling your body properly during menopause, your follicles just don't get what they need to stay strong. That's why two women can have very different experiences in menopause with hair loss. One may lose a lot of hair and the other one may keep hers relatively thick. And nutrition usually has a huge role in that. It's not the only thing, but it's one of the biggest things. Okay, let's get into the core nutrients you need to maintain thick hair during the menopause years. We're gonna start with the first one. You guys are probably not gonna be surprised if you watch my videos. We're gonna be talking about protein. So protein is truly the foundation when it comes to hair growth because hair is comprised of 95% of protein in the form of keratin. Keratin itself is built from amino acids like cysteine, lysine, proline, to name a few. And just to show you the significance of this, cysteine itself is important because it contains sulfur. This creates the disulfide bonds that give hair that strength and shape. And during menopause, if you're not eating enough protein or if your digestion and absorption slow down, which often happens with age, your body will prioritize that protein for survival functions, repairing muscles, producing enzymes, and maintaining healthy organs. Hair is seen as non-essential, and so your follicles end up missing out. So while you might technically be eating protein, if you're not eating high quality protein or a sufficient amount of protein, your hair won't end up getting enough of those amino acids. That's why it's so important to incorporate foods like salmon, chicken, lentils, beans into your meals. You want to aim for about 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. Next, let's talk about iron. Iron deficiency, even a mild iron deficiency, is one of the most common nutritional causes of hair loss in women. Iron's job is to help carry oxygen in your blood via hemoglobin. Oxygen is literally the fuel for the cells in your follicles. When your iron is low, your hair follicles end up suffocating on a microscopic level. So research shows that ferritin, and that's the storage form of iron, is linked to telogen effluvium. And this is the type of hair loss where you see all of a sudden like a bunch of shedding on your hairbrush and the shower drain, on the floor, everywhere. And women in perimenopause or menopause often see dips in their ferritin, which can be attributed to heavy bleeding in the years leading up to menopause. Okay, so let's talk good sources of iron. Red meat, obviously, poultry, fish, spinach, lentils, and pumpkin seeds. And here's another tip. Try to balance your iron intake with foods that are rich in vitamin C. And that's citrus fruits, bell peppers, and that's because this will really improve the absorption of the iron dramatically. Okay, let's move on to another key nutrient, and that is vitamin D. Studies have found that women with low levels of vitamin D are more prone to hair shedding. And that's because vitamin D interacts with hair follicle stem cells, which are the cells that are responsible for pushing out new hairs out of the follicle. If those stem cells don't get enough vitamin D, they can miss out on that signal and end up remaining dormant. This is why your hair growth can seem like it pauses when your vitamin D is low. And the problem is that very few foods actually contain a sufficient amount of vitamin D. So if you're not getting sufficient sun exposure, you can get it from foods like fatty fish, eggs, and fortified food products. Okay, we're moving on to zinc. And zinc is like the multitasker for your scalp. It does a lot of things. It helps to repair tissues, it keeps the oil glands productive, and it plays a role in DNA synthesis. And this is really important for fast-growing hair cells. Zinc deficiency itself has been really linked to conditions like alopecia areata and telogen effluvium. So good sources of zinc are pumpkin seeds, oysters, beef, chickpeas, and cashews. These are all fantastic sources. The key with zinc, though, is to keep things in balance. Too much zinc can actually interfere with copper absorption, which can actually end up causing more shedding. So the reason why I say this is so that you can try to get your zinc from food sources first, and then if you're still not getting enough, look towards supplements. And remember, you're always going to want to be checking in with your doctor every few months, getting your levels checked. Vitamin D, iron, B12, zinc. These are the main ones that influence hair growth. Okay, moving on to omega-3s. And omega-3s are fantastic because they are anti-inflammatory. And inflammation is, if you were part of my family, you would be so sick of me because all I talk about is inflammation all day long. But that's because inflammation is at the root of so many diseases, and it's something that is largely within our control to reduce. Yeah, I won't get too much into it in this video, but if you actually want to hear more, because my family is sick of me, but if you want to hear more, let me know in the comments. But inflammation is a factor in menopausal hair thinning, and this is because estrogen, as it declines in perimenopause, reduces your body's anti-inflammatory defenses. So this can lead to more scalp irritation, more follicular sensitivity, and a not so great environment for hair growth. Omega-3s, especially EPA and DHA, which are primarily found in fish, can help to calm this inflammation. They also help to nourish the scalp by improving circulation and supporting the lipid barrier that keeps your follicles hydrated. So good sources of omega-3s are fish like salmon, sardines, and the nuts and seeds like walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds. So good for omegas. And finally, let's get into B vitamins. Particularly, we're going to be talking about biotin, B12, and folate. Now, biotin gets a lot of hype in the hair world, and while it's essential for keratin production, biotin deficiency is pretty rare. But B12 and folate are actually equally as important because they help to form red blood cells, which carry oxygen and nutrients to your scalp. Low levels of B12 are more common in women over 50. Doesn't mean it doesn't occur below 50, but it's more common in above 50. And that's especially if you're following a plant-based diet. Eggs, nutritional yeast, leafy greens, and fortified cereals can really help in that case. And a B complex if you feel like you're not getting enough. Okay, now moving on, let's talk about supplements, because I know a lot of you want to know which ones are worth it and which ones you should skip. Just keep in mind when you approach supplements to think of it as filling in the gaps that you're not getting from your nutrition. So nutrition should be the first place you're getting your vitamins and minerals. Okay, with that said, let's move on to the first one, which is collagen. So collagen provides the amino acids that support the structure of your hair as well as the skin of your scalp, which holds your hair follicles. Some research shows that collagen can help improve hair thickness over several months. Next, one we talked about in the last section, which is vitamin D. And this is like, I would urge everybody to get your vitamin D levels checked because more often than not, you might find that your vitamin D level is low. If it is low, then you'd want to supplement because like I said, it's a little bit difficult to get all of the vitamin D that you need from your food if you're not getting daily sun exposure. And now moving on to iron, but you only want to supplement this if your ferritin is low. Taking iron when you don't need it can cause toxicity in the body. So definitely test your levels first. Next is omega-3s, which we talked about as well. The first thing you want to do is try to eat fatty fish twice a week. If you're not getting enough fish in, then you'd want to supplement with omegas. I will link a bunch of really great quality supplements for you guys down in the description box as well. And now we're moving on to B complex. This is really important, especially for people that are plant-based. This will help you get the sufficient amount of B12 and folate that your follicles need. And lastly, probiotics. I've been talking about probiotics forever on my channel and how important it is to have a healthy gut microbiome to support hair growth. But that's basically because your gut really is what determines how well you absorb nutrients. A healthy gut microbiome can mean better absorption of all of those vitamins, nutrients, minerals that your hair follicles need to grow healthy, beautiful, thick, shiny hair. Okay, finally, what you guys have been waiting for, let's put this all together. So how can we make this practical for our daily lifestyles? Everybody's got something going on. So how do you actually eat on a daily basis to support hair growth during menopause? Let's talk about a sample day. Starting with breakfast, this can look like a really nice smoothie with a scoop of collagen peptides, spinach, chia seeds, almond milk, and a cup of berries. This will give you a really great dose of protein, vitamin C, iron, and omega-3s right as you wake up. Moving on to lunch, let's think of a really nice grilled salmon salad with avocado, pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, because in this you're going to be covering protein, healthy fats, zinc, and iron all in one bowl. Now when it comes to snacking, the most powerhouse snack you can have is a boiled egg with a handful of walnuts. It's easy to take anywhere with you, and it's rich in protein, B vitamins, and omega-3s. And finally, getting to dinner, you can do like a lentil soup like dal, and instead of pairing it with basmati rice, you can do it with quinoa because quinoa has a lot of protein in it, and a side of leafy greens. This combination is going to give you protein, iron, folate, and fiber, which is really great for your gut health. And then if you want, you can sprinkle in your supplements and space them out throughout the day. Start off with vitamin D in the morning. Take your omega-3s with your fish at lunch, and then you can do your multivitamin and your B complex at dinner. If you are taking iron, you want to make sure that you're pairing it with a meal that has vitamin C in it, but not close to when you have your coffee or tea because that will block absorption. So the big takeaway I want you to get from this is that it is possible to get your nutrients throughout your day in your diet, but I also don't want you to look at that menu that I just suggested for your day and think, oh gosh, this looks nothing like what I eat on a normal basis, and there's no way I could eat that strictly clean. I get it. It can seem a little restrictive. I want you to think of this as incorporating and focusing more on where you can supplement the nutrients you need for your hair follicles in your diet versus taking things away. Pay attention to what you're getting in your diet and make tweaks where you can. And if you need to take time with this, that's fine. Take time with this. It's not about perfection. It's about supplementing where you can in your diet and doing it in a realistic way that will work for you and your lifestyle. Because the bottom line is that your hormones are going to shift during menopause and perimenopause, but your hair follicles are going to need those nutrients even more during this time than ever. And by giving it what it wants, the protein, the vitamins, the minerals, you can absolutely maintain that beautiful, healthy, thick hair during menopause. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope this video helped you, and I will see you guys soon with another video. Take care.